Hello guys, welcome back once more again to the MikeMoney Fx trading platform, global expert traders. So today I'll be showing you how to build a well-customized indicator using the IQ option script. So with the IQ option script, you can actually build a customized indicator for yourself that will help you predict the next market movement and trade very effectively and very profitably. So let's go get started. So before the end of this training section, you know how to build a scripted indicator with exactly this kind of properties that looks exactly like this and helps you predict the next market movement. But don't get it twisted. The strategy we apply is a strategy that is very simple and straightforward. You need a more advanced and very applicable strategy that is very profitable for you to translate to a scripted indicator on IQ option trading platform. So let's go get started. First of all, you come to the indicator icon here, click on it. So we have indicators here, we have the templates, winget and script. Click on the scripts. Once you've done that, simply go and click add new script, and you come down here to click open in editor. That allows you to edit the script to suit your specific purpose or use. So basically what we want to show on this chart are buy and sell arrows. So we want buy and sell arrow signals to appear on this chart, giving us a trading opportunity to either buy or sell based on our trading plan. This is the instrument. The instrument describes the name of the indicator and the symbol or the icon we want it to be represented by. So the default here is moving average. So it uses the moving average icon, which is inbuilt on the IQ option. So we can as well change that. But first of all, what name do we want to call this indicator? Let's call it test 1 indicator, because you can later modify until this indicator will suit exactly what you want. What icon do we want to use? Let's use an icon that suits one of the indicators called CCI. And we want this indicator to overlay whatever is on the charts, so it should be true and not false. So now we're done with the instrument definition or instrument description. What's the next stage? The next stage is for us to define what we want the color code of the buy and sell signals. So we have to define a default color code for the buy and sell signal. So watch exactly how I'll go about this. So after doing that, the next thing we need to do basically define the color code of the buy and sell signals that will appear right in here. So we want to actually define the color code and allow it to be editable by the user of this script or scripted indicator. So basically we'll do this using what is called the input group. So you define this using what is called, first of all, the buy signal. So for this buy signal, we want the buy color to be defined by the user. So we use what's called the input function. So you can actually manually modify this, modify the buy color, but we'll define it with a default. Let's use a default color of blue because it's a buy signal. Most buy signals are blue while the sell signals are red. So define with a blue default, and the type should be an input color. So this input will come in as an input color. So now we finish defining the buy color code. So guys, you simply just save. So once you save, you come to this indicator icon here. As you can see, click it. Once you click it, you can see it's showing the test indicator 1. So you come to indicators, to the script, have it, that's test indicator. So click that, you go and click color that showed you buy. You can see the buy, and that's the color code, which is the default as blue. You can actually change it, but it shows blue because that's what it was programmed to show, blue as the default. That's it. Then we can now repeat the same thing for the sell. Just copy and you paste. So for this, signal will be sell. Then the default, let's use red, since this is a sell signal, red. So we can also save this. Come back here and click this indicator icon. When you click script, it shows you that it has been inputted. Come back, click indicator, go back to script, and click this, click the color and display, showing both buy and sell signal. This is the blue and this is the red. Okay. So the next thing is to define a trading condition for which this scripted indicator will show either buy or sell based on the strategy. So what is the trading strategy? The trading strategy we'll deploy here is just for illustration. It does not necessarily mean it is very effective or very profitable. It's just for you to understand how this can be done with ease. So let me set up the trading strategy and explain in detail. We intend to use Bollinger Bands. Come to volatility, you find the Bollinger Bands here. So use period 14 and deviation 2. So basically what happens is on the IQ option scripting or programming back end, there's no input function that can be usable for Bollinger Bands. So we need to go and calculate using the exact formula for Bollinger Band. And that formula states that we'll calculate the simple moving average and give it a standard deviation of 2 to get exactly what the Bollinger Band represents. So this middle line is actually the simple moving average, and what you have here is just the spacing. The spacing is defined by that standard deviation, which is just 2. And also, we're going to combine this indicator with a different indicator called CCI, and that is the Commodity Channel Index. We're using CCI of 20, and we use the overbought region oversold as 200. So basically, let me explain the strategy first of all. Before we do that, ensure you always Control All, click here and Control A. Control A means you've copied all. You Control C, which means you've copied it. So after highlighting all, which is Control A, I then copy in case this particular website reloads, so I don't completely lose my script. So what is the buy condition? Basically, the buy condition is when the candle closes below the Bollinger Band and you have your CCI touching or just below the line 200. That's the line 200 there, and you can see it touching the line 200. It crosses below line 200. At that spot, take a buy. That is the buy condition. So I'm expecting arrows to pop up somewhere around here when we've completed this scripted indicator or customized indicator. We're expecting something similar here because you see the candle closes above the upper Bollinger Band and we have CCI crossing above 200. So we're expecting to have a sell signal here, which means you should sell. So let's go complete the script. Okay, so the next thing to do is to define the trading strategy or the strategy for which we want the signals. The strategy to generate sell or buy signals. So how do we get this done? First of all, we call this strategy. So first of all, you must understand that this is the baseline. We have to calculate this baseline, which I told you is a simple moving average. Then we'll calculate a distance from here to get this line, which is the standard deviation. So this is the standard deviation of 2 higher than what? The simple moving average, which means that the standard deviation or the higher Bollinger Band is higher than the baseline by 2 standard deviation, and the lower Bollinger Band is lower than the baseline by 2 standard deviation. So the first thing is to define this baseline, which is the simple moving average. So the baseline will be equals to the simple moving average. We're using the closed candle, so where the candle closes, and that is 14 because this Bollinger Band was 14. Remember, period 14. Next is to calculate the upper Bollinger Band. So if you've done this calculation, let's calculate the upper Bollinger Band. Upper band will be equals to the baseline plus, we'll add this to the standard deviation, which is STD or STDev. So that's standard deviation of the close candle. So when the candle closes, and we are dealing with the 14th period. So since we are using 2 standard deviation, we have to multiply this by 2. If you're using 3, you multiply it by 3. The reason I'm multiplying by 2 is because we're using 2 standard deviation. Then the same thing for the lower band. The lower band now is the baseline, and we are subtracting the standard deviation from the baseline. STDev T close, and we're looking at period 14 of period 14, and looking at 2 standard deviation. If it was 5, use here 5 or 10, whatever the standard deviation is. So on doing that, don't forget that we've just done only for the Bollinger Band. What about for the CCI? The last thing to calculate is CCI value. CCI value is equals to, we'll call for the CCI function. CCI, you can see it there, it's already popping up, which means it's correct. We'll call forth that CCI function for the close value of the candles. And don't forget, we use 20. If you remember, we use 20 for this. Is CCI 20. We use period 20. So just calculated the baseline, which is the middle line of the Bollinger Band, the upper and lower Bollinger Band. And now we just finish calculating the CCI values as well. Next thing is to define our buy and sell conditions. So under this strategy, we have to define buy condition. So what is the buy condition? Buy condition will state that if, so here we use IFF, if the close candle, which is the value of the close candle, is less, don't forget, is less than the lower Bollinger Band and the CCI value is also lower or less than this. Don't forget that this is the buy condition when the candle closes below the Bollinger Band, lower Bollinger Band, and you have the CCI touching the lower band, which is minus 200. So it's less than minus 200. If this is true, this actually true or false. So it will produce true, and if that's not the case, it will produce a false signal. Same thing with the sell condition. I just copy and paste. So I just change it to sell. Then now if it closes above the upper band and the CCI value is greater than 200, which is this upper level here, upper boundary, if that is true, or it will be false. So these conditions will either be true or false. So we want it such that whenever it is true, it should pop up the signal on the chart. The next thing we'll do basically is we want to pop up the signals on the chart. The plots, charts, signals. Don't forget, whenever you're doing this, always Control A, copy, and Control C, Control A, highlight all, and Control C, you copy in case your web mistakenly uploads. You cannot get this back again. So how do we get this done? So simply use what is called the plot shape. Plot shape. So simply use what is called the plot shape. Plot shape. So we're going to plot the buy and sell conditions basically as arrows on this chart. So the first thing we're plotting is the buy condition. To ensure you're using the exact same text, use the same text size. So when this buy condition is true, what should it do? Basically, it will automatically deploy the input, which is the buy input here that we've defined. So automatically it deploys it whenever the buy condition is met. And after doing that, then plot a shape. And the shape style, let's first define the shape style. So the shape style should be, you put dots, give you the options. So this is a buy, it means we're going to use an arrow up, not arrow down. This arrow down, this arrow up is circle. So use an arrow up to plot arrow up, and to use to define another shape, which will be the shape size. What's the size? Put dot again. Give us options. You can see large, normal, small, tiny, also huge. Use huge, so it's going to give us a huge arrow shape size. Then comma. We want to use the properties, default properties we have as the buy color. So we want to use the buy color. And next we'll define the shape. Where should the location be? The shape location. When you put dot to tell you where you want it, choose the place you want to place it. Is it above the bar, below the bar, bottom, top, or absolute? So we want to place this because the buy tells us to buy, it should appear below the bar. And we use the default of 0. And it should also print a text telling us to buy. So we want to have a text telling us buy as well. This text should have a color, and let's use the buy color we already have here. So that's as simple as it is. We can simply test this, but let's get this, the cell plot condition. Let's get the cell plot done. This should plot using the cell condition. It is true. Should deploy the cell input group, and also she use an arrow down. She use arrow down. The shape size huge as well, but now we're using the cell color setup, and the location should be above the bar. So I simply, from deleting, give me the option above the bar, and now it should deploy, should actually print cell using the cell color. Should print with the cell color we already have defined there. After that, you do what? Save. Always ensure you Ctrl A and Ctrl C. Always have it copied in case your web page reloads. So now we are done. Let's get it tested. Script indicator, that is it. So you can simply see 2 colors are there and you apply. So once that is done, it will start showing you up where to buy and sell. You can see signal came up to sell, and the market is actually selling at this point in time. So this is a clear example of a scripted indicator. Like I said, it's not 100% guarantee, but it's good, and you need to do a very good filtering on this strategy. We develop this scripted indicator and you can use it in trading.